Hello students, welcome to the SST class once again. So today we are going to begin a very important chapter of civics, which is vision set forth in the Indian Constitution. The Constitution of a country lays down the national goals which form the basic principles on which the governance and the functioning of the nation rests. The Constitution of India recognizes democracy, socialism, secularism, and national integration as the primary goals of the nation. Okay, the primary goals of the nation are: the Constitution of India recognizes democracy, socialism, secularism, and national integration as the primary goals of the nation. The Indian Constitution represents the vision and values of its founding fathers. The framers of the Constitution showed an uncompromising respect for human dignity, an unquestioning commitment to equality and non-discrimination, and an abiding concern for the poor and the weak. So let us discuss the salient features of the Indian Constitution. A very important feature of the Indian Constitution is that it is the largest written constitution. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. It lays down the framework defining the fundamental political principles, establishes the structure, procedures, powers and duties of government, and spells out the fundamental rights, directive principles and duties of citizens. In sheer physical terms, our constitution is the largest, bulkiest and most detailed constitution in the world, containing 448 articles in 25 parts, 12 schedules and 104 amendments. It is interesting to note that Constitution of the USA originally contained 7 articles, Canada 147 articles, and Australia 128 articles. So our constitution, which contains 448 articles in 25 parts, 12 schedules and 104 amendments, is the largest written constitution of the world. Another important feature of our constitution is the preamble. Preamble is given in the beginning of our constitution. The preamble is a short introduction given in the beginning of our constitution. It declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic. Now, what is the meaning of sovereign? Sovereign means not controlled by any other country, means independent or having the highest possible authority. So a sovereign nation is initially supreme and independent of any outside control. The word socialist aims at the establishment of an egalitarian society in India. Now, what is the meaning of egalitarian? Egalitarian is used about a person, a society or system which follows the principle that everyone should have equal rights. So the word socialist aims at the establishment of an egalitarian society in India. The directive principles of state policy, a concept borrowed from the Constitution of Ireland, aims to establish a welfare state in India on the socialistic pattern of society. The preamble of the Indian Constitution promises to all the citizens of India social, economic and political justice, liberty of thought, expression and belief, freedom of faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Another important feature of Indian Constitution is the federal structure of the government. The Constitution of India provides for a federal structure of government. It means that India is governed at three levels: the center, state, and the local. So, this you have studied in your previous classes also. In class 6, we have done how India is governed at three levels: the center, state, and local. At the same time, there are three organs of the government: legislature, executive, and judiciary. These organs operate at every level of the government with varying degree of powers, the highest degree of power being exercised by the central government. Another important feature of Indian constitution is that India has parliamentary type of government. The Indian constitution establishes in India a parliamentary type of government which is representative in nature. It means that executive organ of the government is answerable to the legislature or the parliament of the country. The parliament at the central level comprises two bodies, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The members of the parliament are directly elected by the people, and the leader of the majority party in the Lok Sabha heads the government as the Prime Minister. Next feature of Indian Constitution is universal adult franchise. India has universal adult franchise. Hence, every adult citizen can vote no matter what his or her race, religion, language, caste, wealth, sex, or level of education may be. Every person's vote carries equal weight regardless of his or her social or economic status. Next feature is independent judiciary. The Constitution of India provides for an independent judiciary which has the responsibility to act as the custodian and protector of the Constitution of India. It is the body that upholds law, punishes the guilty, and settles disputes. It safeguards the basic rights of the citizens of India. It can object to the new enactments or amendments in the law brought about by the legislature if it thinks that these are not in the spirit of the Constitution. Another important feature of Indian Constitution is that it is partly rigid and partly flexible, which means there are certain provisions which can be amended by a simple majority in the Parliament, while there are certain provisions whose amendment requires not only a special majority in Parliament but also ratification by at least one half of the state legislature. Means there are certain provisions whose amendment requires not only a special majority in Parliament but also ratification. Means they are ratified, or what is ratification? The process of making an agreement official. So to make it official, there needs to be at least one half of the state legislature. It has to be ratified by at least one half of the state legislature. Next feature of Indian Constitution is secularism. The word secular was formally inserted in the preamble to the Constitution of India by the 42nd Amendment of 1976. Indian secularism means Sarva Dharma Sambhav, meaning tolerant attitude towards and equal respect for all cultures and all the religions. The reason behind this approach is the fact that India has always been a country of multitude of faiths and religions. At the same time, secularism in India also means non-interference of religion in the government affairs. The Indian Constitution, through its preamble, fundamental rights, and directive principles, has created a secular state based on the principle of equality and non-discrimination. With the advancement of the Indian constitutional philosophy of social and economic democracy, secularism has been held to be one of the basic structures of Indian constitution. The nature of polity promised in the preamble cannot be altered even in the case of amendment in the clauses of the Constitution under Article 368. These ideals of secularism got translated into fundamental rights enshrined in the Part 3 of the Constitution. Next important feature of Indian Constitution is fundamental rights given to the citizens of India. The Indian Constitution has given certain rights and duties to the citizens. These are known as fundamental rights. The Fundamental Rights chapter is also called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. These rights are mentioned in Part 3 of the Constitution and are justiciable. The fundamental rights are defined as basic human freedoms which every Indian citizen has the right to enjoy for a proper and harmonious development of personality. These rights universally apply to all citizens, irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste, creed, color, or gender. Violations of these rights result in punishments as prescribed in the Indian Penal Code, subject to discretion of the judiciary. However, this does not mean that they are absolute or they are immune from constitutional amendments. So, what are these rights? We will be discussing these 6 fundamental rights in detail. The first one is right to equality, which means all people are equal before the law. The Indian Constitution states that no discrimination will be made on the basis of caste, creed, gender, and class in the country. Similarly, all citizens of India, irrespective of one's religion, caste, or gender, have right to vote. According to Articles 14 to 21, all will enjoy same rights without any discrimination on any ground. The next one is right to freedom. A citizen is given the right of freedom of speech and expression, to assemble peacefully anywhere without arms, to form associations and unions, to move in any part of the country, to reside in any part of the country, take up any occupation, trade, and business in any part of the Indian territory, and the right to education. Some of these rights are subjected to security of the state, friendly relations with foreign countries, public order, decency, or morality. The next fundamental right is right against exploitation. Children below 14 years of age should not be allowed to work in factories and mines, and people should live a life with dignity. Next is right to freedom of religion. India being a secular state, all religions are treated equally. The Indian Constitution guarantees both individual and collective freedom of religion through the Articles 25 to 28 enshrined in the Part 3 of the Constitution, which deals with fundamental rights. Article 15 and 16 also guarantees non-discrimination on the ground of religion. According to Article 25, all those who reside in India are free to confess, practice, and propagate religion of one's choice, subject of course to social health and law and order. Thus, even conversion to any religion of one's choice is a fundamental right. Next fundamental right is cultural and educational rights. There is a lot of diversity in India, so people have right to preserve and promote their own language and culture. Minorities have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Next fundamental right is right to constitutional remedies. A citizen can move the court if he is deprived of his fundamental rights in any way. On 10th December 1948, the United Nations adopted the Charter of Human Rights. The fundamental rights for Indians have also been aimed at overturning the inequalities of pre-independence social practices. Specifically, they have also been used to abolish untouchability and hence prohibit discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. They also forbid trafficking of human beings and forced labor. They also protect cultural and educational rights of ethnic and religious minorities by allowing them to preserve their languages and also establish and administer their own education institutions. Some fundamental rights are available even to the foreigners. For example, in the case of right to life, significantly fundamental rights are subject to reasonable restrictions. For example, the right to freedom of expression does not allow a person to abuse others. If a person crosses the set limits, he can be tried in a court of law. On the other hand, the accused can also seek the legal procedure to prove that he was wrongly being accused of breaking the limit in this case. Along with rights, Constitution of India has also given us fundamental duties. The 42nd Amendment to the Constitution added a new part to the Constitution under the heading Fundamental Duties. It lays down a code of 10 duties for all the citizens of India. Code of 10 duties for all the citizens of India. Citizens have the duty to respect the Constitution, the national flag and the national anthem, protect the sovereignty, unity of the country and safeguard public property by avoiding violence. So with this we come to an end of this chapter. I hope you might have understood all the main points of the chapter, the features of the Constitution, fundamental rights and the fundamental duties. Thank you.